All right, so the next one here, the U.S. to increase military aid to Guyana. Wherever you look around the world, you will find a country that receives military aid from the U.S. So the U.S. will increase military aid to Guyana amid tensions with neighboring Venezuela over the disputed Guyana Essequibo region. And the AP reported this, but they did not detail how much the U.S. will provide, but said the U.S. will help Guyana acquire new helicopters, a fleet of military drones, and radar technology for the first time. In 2023, I just looked back at the U.S. Foreign Assistance website, which shows how much countries get in aid each year. So Guyana received $2.7 million in total aid. That includes everything, and the only military type that I saw was $400,000 from the Pentagon's International Military Education and Training Program, which means the U.S. has been training Guyana's military. Guyana is a very small country with a population of only around 800,000. According to AP, the Caribbean nation's military numbers less than 5,000 troops, so it's a very small military. So news of the new military aid came after U.S. Deputy National Security Advisor John Feiner met with officials in Guyana. The U.S. has been stepping up military cooperation with Guyana after Venezuelans voted in a referendum late last year to make the Essequibo region a Venezuelan state. So if you see on the map here, this area highlighted in orange is the disputed territory. And Venezuela and Guyana agreed in December not to use military force to resolve the dispute, but tensions remain high. Venezuela deployed 6,000 troops to its border with Guyana, its border on this region. And this is a very resource-rich territory. It's been under Guyana's control for over a century, but Venezuela has always disputed this tribunal ruling from back in 1899, which was an American-British tribunal. I believe it was 2 Americans, 2 Britons, and 1 Russian. They tried to make it seem kind of partial. The Americans were supposed to be neutral as well, but they ruled in favor of the British Empire and said that this territory belonged to the British Empire, which controlled Guyana at the time. So again, it was always disputed. In 1966, the two sides signed a deal called the Geneva Agreement, which basically said they would pursue a mutually satisfactory solution. Tensions have risen over Essequibo in recent years as there's been more oil discoveries. The American energy giant ExxonMobil discovered massive oil reserves off the coast of Guyana and in waters that are claimed by Venezuela. So it's this huge offshore drilling project off the coast there. And in recent years, I know the U.S. sent a few warships in that area to do their so-called freedom of navigation operations to challenge Venezuela's claims. So, you know, it's just one of those things, like, why is the U.S. getting involved in this dispute? But, maybe I just answered the question talking about Exxon's big project there. But, you know, and when it comes to Venezuela, the diplomacy has recently broken down between the U.S. and Venezuela. The U.S. is reimposing sanctions. It eased some sanctions, but Venezuela is essentially under a U.S. economic embargo and has been since 2019 when the Trump administration backed a very failed coup attempt against Maduro.